John Edwards for Griffins TV alongside head baseball coach Scott Brown. And Coach, we talked a little bit earlier this week. Mother Nature hasn't been good to the baseball gods so far, but you've been able to get a couple of games in this week and a couple of wins against MCC schools.
It's been a little strong. I mean, yesterday was actually a great day, and then we go back to today and tomorrow, and it's going to get back down to really cold temperatures. I mean, the nice thing is they've seemed to take some of the precipitation out of the forecast, so hopefully we'll get them in. But it is going to be a little frigid out there tomorrow. But you know, Tuesday was a good win because it wasn't ideal conditions out there, but it was the first MCC game after our two tournament weeks that we've had, and to get back in that play, you know, you're always going to get the best from the opponent, and Chaminade brought their A game and made it tough, and we ended up giving up the lead with 2 outs in the 7th inning, and well, actually they tied it up at 3, and then took us a couple extra innings to get that extra run and end up winning it. And then yesterday, on a nice day, it just turned out to be a great day. We played by far our best game of the year. You know, we had good pitching from Noah Nisnik. We played good defense out there, and you know, we executed very well. And you know, we got some help from them because they didn't really field the balls that they probably needed to.
I was going to ask you about that because we had talked prior to the game, and I asked you about their starting pitcher, and you said he's a solid pitcher, but if you get him a little riled early on, it seems to kind of dictate how the game is going to go. And in that 2nd inning, you were able to capitalize on back-to-back errors in the inning, and it just seemed like the bottom half of your order was getting it done for you.
It was, and it was sort of an odd thing because, I mean, you know, Andrew Keck has been struggling. He starts the 2nd inning off. He started the 2nd off with a double. And then all of a sudden we get into a couple situations. We get into a bunting situation to try to bunt some people over to get in scoring position. And, you know, it was just one of those days. It was sort of crazy. We bunted 4 times and they didn't get out on any of them. And, you know, we actually messed up 2 of them ourselves, but it ended up working out to our advantage because we've been working on some stuff and we just really didn't execute the bunt where we needed to, but they didn't field it. And so it looks like it was good on paper, but you know, it's something we still need to keep on getting better at too.
If you feel that you find a weakness in a team, and they had a tough time struggling, they struggled yesterday fielding the bunt, is it a situation moving forward that, hey, you'll take that chance, you'll lay down a sacrifice bunt, see how they field it, but if they don't, you're just going to continue to do it until they make the out? Depending on the situation?
I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, depending on the situation, because, I mean, first of all, CBC is a really good team, and I, you know, with Cole is a really good pitcher. I mean, we have good pitching though too, but you know, you never know. I mean, Cole has a chance to dominate some teams, which he did earlier in the year. We caught him a day where, you know, we took advantage of a lot of things, and it's one of those things where if the situation calls for it, you know, you're more inclined to do it, but you also have people coming up that, you know, you want them to come through with RBIs on the hits, and you know, the bunting part, you do it out of when you need to, and it's nicer to know that, you know, yesterday they were struggling with it so much, but you know, those are just added pluses because you never really expect them to be giving you the free base there.
Defensively, your team is playing well. You turn over a double play in the game yesterday afternoon. Defensively, you guys are playing well. Offensively, do you feel that you guys have kind of hit your stride yet, or is it because you haven't seen enough live pitching to really get going offensively?
No, I think that using that as an excuse of not seeing enough live pitching, because I think by this point we're 10 games this season. I mean, we've had 10 games, which is a lot better than other people. I think it's just something where we've got some people that I think early on we're trying to do a little bit too much, and that's really a common thing that I've seen from people in the past where, you know, you have good junior years and all of a sudden you're wanting to repeat that again as a senior. You want so bad to go out there and do well, and that you start really pressing and you try and do more than what you're capable and you forget about what got you there. And I think that's something where people are taking a little bit of a step back and trying to get back into what they've done to make them successful. And you know, yesterday was a good day because it was something where I saw a lot of good things from people. I've been seeing better at bats, even though maybe some people haven't been getting the results. But you know, we're making strides. I don't think that I think that we have a ways to go to get, you know, I mean, to where we really I think can be. But at least we're working in that direction, and it's offensively.
pitching wise, your starting pitchers, Luke Mann and Noah Niznik have done a fantastic job early.
And Mitch Lodeker.
And yeah, and you haven't had to extend your bullpen so far this year through the 10 games, but pitchers have gotten to work in. Next week, we've talked about it. You talked about 7 games over a 6-day span, and you're going to really have to rely on your pitching next week.
Right, and that's our strong point of our team anyway. And you're right. And just because of how our season has sort of drawn out with the rain that we've had, it has not really helped getting some people in there. And the fact that we have a couple of games where maybe you have a chance to get them in there, they end up getting shortened because of the run rule, and so you start taking innings off of there that people would normally get. But Noah, Luke, Mitch Lodekirk, and they've all been great. I mean, they've been doing well, but then you look at Brendan May and Ryan Insko, those two have been well. I mean, have done an extremely good job in relief. Caleb Burley really has gotten the short end of the stick a little bit. He had a really nice outing his first time out, but then because of rain, doesn't get to pitch last weekend. He's scheduled to pitch tomorrow, so it's. But you're right. I mean, we're going to need all arms on deck next week because 7 games. We go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, doubleheader Friday, doubleheader Saturday. I mean, we've got our work cut out for us.
Is there any pressure building on this team as the season continues now? You've played 10 games, probably most of any of the teams in the St. Louis area. Do you feel like as the season now moves further along, that each game there's just that pressure of, hey, listen, we're the top team in Class 5 right now and number 16 in the country. Is there any pressure?
Not until you mentioned it.
Not for you, but for I mean, you're very level-headed. I mean, when it comes to being on the field and trying to figure you out, you're just a very level-headed guy. But do you sense any pressure from your boys?
I was really excited because I didn't know what to expect yesterday, and because CBC is a good team, they came out very excited. And I think that what we always talk about is we talk about always, raising the bar of where you were and always trying to make sure you improve. And people can talk about things that they want to do at the end of the season, but you have to worry about day to day. You have to worry about each at bat and not worry about what else has happened. And that's the thing that we really preach of. And I know that is a lot easier. But the one thing that I don't try to do is I don't try to avoid talking about those rankings because it's there whether you like it or not, whether it's true or not. And hey, we know that we have a very solid team, and we know that when we play our best game, that a team is going to have to be really on their game in order to beat us. But I can give you a list of about 8 teams that could happen on any given day. That we play them, that they could beat us because they're that good. So we don't try to avoid talking about that. And it's a neat thing for our school. It's a neat thing for these boys. They've actually earned it. But we also talk about that they have to understand that they're going to get the best game from everybody, which is good because it challenges us to be better every day as well too. CBC came out yesterday and you could tell that they were fired up and ready to go. It didn't happen. We were able to jump on them and really and do things our way. But they were ready to go from the beginning. And I wasn't sure where our team was and stuff, and it was sort of a quiet confidence out there, which was really nice to see. Chaminade, all of a sudden they get in the extra innings and they're getting excited out there because it's like, hey, we have a chance. And what I've told our guys is that you have to understand that every time you go out there, that team wants to be the first one to beat you this year. And they're going to give it their all. And so you have to come out prepared to play because, in baseball, anything can happen on a given day. And so you have to be ready to go. So we don't try to avoid looking at those rankings because they're going to look at them anyway. But it's trying to get them to understand, to put them in perspective.
Schedule doesn't get easy. Tomorrow, weather permitting, of course, you get a couple of the Zumwalt schools. You get South and West. And Zumwalt West is almost like a new rivalry for you.
I'll tell you what, though. Zumwalt South hits the ball really well. I mean, I don't think that we'll probably have one of their top pitchers tomorrow because they've had some conference games this week, but they are a really solid hitting team. You look at some of the numbers they put up, and they swing it. And we saw their game because they played Howell Central before we played them last Saturday, and they're ripping balls everywhere. And so you can't overlook that team because they're a solid team. For Zuma West, yeah, it's become a little bit of a rivalry because we've had some awful close games with them for over the last 3 or 4 years. And, Eric Goff is their coach out there, and he does a great job with them. He has gotten them to believe, and really build that program up. And Mike Reimer used to be the coach out there and did a great job, and Eric has really taken it to another level as well too, and where they're consistently going to compete day in and day out. And it's one of the things where I know that they're going to execute when we play them, and they believe that we're going to execute as well. So it's going out there and making sure you do that. And I think that's why it's become a rivalry, because we've had so many close games with them and fun games. And it's, we've had the better of them for the most part, but, they had it last year when it counted.
Before I let you go, I have to ask you one question. Last weekend we had Easter break. Your son was home from college, and one of the things that he mentioned was he had a chance to work out with you. But one of the things that he mentioned in the tweet was that that you're still a little bit stronger than he is.
Darn right I am.
A lot of people may not know this about Coach Brown. There are days that I'll walk through to walk in to talk to the athletic director,
And
Terry
it is
Cochran.
walking through.
Yeah, it is walking right through to talk to to the athletic director, Terry Cochran, and here's Coach Brown in there pumping weights and got his headphones in and still pumping the iron. And
it's my release. I mean, everybody. I tell our guys, that sometimes you just have to find those things that get you away from everything. And for me, it's with my job as assistant principal and the things that I have to deal with on a daily basis, which can really be frustrating because there's just a lot of things you deal with, and then the pressures of the season and trying to make sure that I'm always doing what's best for our boys. And that's my whole thing, is that sometimes it's just good to get in there and just release and just be able to either be on the elliptical for a while or lift weights. And I've always enjoyed lifting weights, and it was really neat to be able to lift with him last week and go to the gym. And it was nice because the next morning before I left, I got throwing batting practice as well too. So as much as I really enjoy throwing to our guys, I mean, there's something special about throwing to him.
how much does that take you back to when he was knee high to you and you were pitching to him?
Yeah, I mean, both my boys, I got to coach them when they were growing up, which was really neat. I got to coach them both here in high school. Christopher's always been more the hockey guy, which I love watching him play hockey, but baseball's always been my love as well too. So the fact that Matt's still playing has made it really special. But to watch them both, where they started from, where they are now is really special. But I will tell you this, and they'll tell you this as well too, is that I get that feeling about 27 other times every year, because there's nothing that makes me more excited than when I have a kid on a team, that all of a sudden just gets it, and all of a sudden things start clicking for him, and he starts having the success that he's been working for, and those things are really neat. Yes, it is really special when it's your own kid, but I tell you what, I get that feeling with the other kids as well too.
Coach, I appreciate a few minutes and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Head Coach
Stay
Scott
warm.
Brown. I'll do the best I can, and I'm just going to get up and walk on out of here. Coach Brown, I'm sure, is going to head back and find the monitor, because I know Missouri State's playing this afternoon.
And RBI single, second time up. Hit by pitch, first one, RBI single, second time.
The man who knows everything about baseball in the St. Louis area, Scott Brown.
No.
We'll talk to him again next week. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, John.
Thanks.